It's Friday. Happy Friday. NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction. Josh Ingles, Dave Bastel. Sports Interaction has you covered for all these picks today. Download the Sports Interaction app. Let's go, bud. Leafs win. Didn't have to go to Game 7. If we had to deal with Game 7 as a Leaf fan, could you just imagine the narrative? I think it gets louder during the week, Dave, just because that's when the media guys work. But
yeah.
Could you imagine the city of Toronto having to deal with Game 7 again?
There were sad faces yesterday. It's like your team lost already. I'm like, oh, relax. Go to Ottawa and win. Come on, bud. Honestly, today would have been really gloomy. Really. And it's like, and then you have to wait all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then you have a Saturday night spotlight. It would have been exciting theater. But it would have been heart-wrenching as well, just because you're sitting there for 48 hours going, oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm waiting for this. But, hey, don't have to worry about it. Bring on the Panthers. That should be a fantastic series coming up next week.
Absolutely terrified of Florida, as everyone should be.
Yes.
The Leafs, Sports Interaction, plus 145. Leafs, home ice advantage, plus 145. That is a giant number. But it's Florida. Do you see a hole in the Florida game? Like when you got that third line getting 2 points each with Listerainen and Lundell and Marchand. That's scary. You can roll those guys. You don't have to play the big dogs lots of minutes. You were down a defenseman. You were still great. You have goaltending. You have coaching. Where's the weakness in Florida?
Yeah, I don't think there is, Josh. I really don't think there is. Aaron Ekblad will not be playing Game 1. That's a positive for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You got to look at that because he's a top minute defenseman. I almost look at the situation where the Leafs have the bigger, sexier stars, right? When you look at Matthews and Marner, and then you throw in a Nylander, like the Florida Panthers don't have that, but they have basically everything else. And it's not like guys like Matthew Tkachuk and Sasha Barkov and the Sam brothers and everything like that. They're not great players, but I mean, you look at the ilk of what those guys bring compared, that's really has to shine through if this team legitimately has any sort of chance. And hey, maybe a little bit of revenge for the goaltender that's sitting in the Leafs net as well, because he knows a lot about them. They know a lot about him. So
the only thing that has me optimistic is Toronto's defensive game and Craig Berube's system that they've played all year.
Yeah.
They can win games 3-2, as we saw last night. But I am terrified of their third period closeout skills because you saw that 2-goal lead yesterday evaporate again. And you needed a Max Pacioretty goal with 6 minutes left to get the lead.
Yeah.
I still don't like their closeout game. It's scaring me, but I think they can win.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I saw, because I was watching that start to finish, David Perron comes around the side and finds the inch and a half. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no. I'm not invested in this team like you guys. And 97% of the chat. I'm not from here. I'm not a Leafs fan. But when I saw that, it was like, oh my, you got to be joking. I live with Leaf fans. I know Leaf fans. My great friends are Leaf fans. So it was just one of those. And it's nice to see the quick bounce back. And then the other aspect, too, that I was kind of getting nervous for you guys was William Nylander shoots it down the ice and misses it by like a quarter inch. And I'm thinking, are the Senators going to win the draw and tie this game? Because that would be very Leaf-like, right? But it didn't happen. Don't have to worry about it. You move on.
Was sitting outside of the Pint next to the Rogers Center in the rain.
I'm familiar with that.
Looking at a TV. Yes. But it was a pretty cool moment, right? Like everybody started to gather. The people who were sitting in the bar next to the TV were very uncomfortable because there were 50 some odd people staring right at them.
Yeah.
Great way to finish, but we'll take it. Edmonton. 5 goals in the first period. That game was incredibly exciting early. That's for sure. We'll call it that. Edmonton scores 6, but McDavid has just 1 point and Draisaitl has 0 points. Edmonton moves on. The Kings. You held McDavid to 1 point, Leon to 0, and you still lost it, and they still found a way to score 6. But at the end of the day, you still can't trust Edmonton's goaltending.
No, you can't. You can't. And obviously, the last couple of games there, you can't really trust Darcy Kemper. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of a better effort, especially in these last two games, 5 and 6. It was dreadful. By the way, I should give you some breaking news. Sports Interaction has Connor McDavid as the new odds-on favorite to win the Conn Smythe at plus 650. So
I was just going to put my hands up and I was going to say, that's not a bad look. That was I looked today. I'm like, if he goes far, like even if he goes to the finals, he still has a chance to win it.
Correct.
And no other player has that.
Leon plus 900, and then Nate McKinnon plus 1,000, Jack Eichel plus 1,400 rounds out the top four. Nathan McKinnon's got to get there, but
I know that's a price I don't like considering Game 7, right? Like, is that going to shorten up to plus 650?
Yeah, that's good. And by the way, for everybody asking in chat, Eric Comrie plus 50,000. So Eric Comrie's on the list. Now, when I say Eric Comrie's on the list, you know how long that list is. so if you want to see a Pierre Polyev type of election ballot, just check out the site. There's a political reference for you.
There we go. Vegas wins 3-2.
Yeah.
They took that 3-1 lead and they closed out like good teams do. Didn't like Minnesota the majority of the series. You just had to stop that top line because I didn't like anything in that middle scoring for Minnesota. I'm not sold on Vegas, but that just could mean that they're just playing good playoff hockey. Nothing is exciting. Winning 3-1, keeping close score games. Nothing weird about that. Vegas plays the winner of Vegas plays Edmonton, and Edmonton's the minus 125 favorite in the series price.
Correct.
You like Vegas at even more?
I love Vegas. Yes, I do. Plus 100. You know what? If there's a little bit of kryptonite, it is what Vegas can do to the Oilers and what they have done with the past. I know the Oilers have beaten them before and so forth, but I don't think you see the defensive breakdowns we saw with the LA Kings in a series with the Vegas Golden Knights. I would joyfully take the plus 100 and bet the Vegas Golden Knights to win that to advance to the conference final.
Somehow, every home team so far, the three that have prices are all dogs. Toronto plus 145, Washington 125, and Vegas even money. And of the three, you're going, if you had to bet one of those, you're going Vegas?
I'm going Vegas, yes. Vegas would be the bet that I have most confidence in. It would be my pick. When I'm looking at the other series, I think there's a puncher's chance in both. Like I really think the Leafs do have an opportunity. I would rate them number 3 on that list, though. Like I think the Florida Panthers will win that series. But that Capitals Hurricanes matchup is going to be good. Like I wish the Hurricanes weren't that pricey because that's minus 150 takes me out of the conversation. I'm interested in the Capitals, but I think I might bet them game 1 home ice at plus 100. And that's kind of where I'll look at that. I will not bet a series price, though.
I got paid out on my Leafs minus 1.5 series price. That was a lot sweatier than it should have been. Let's be honest.
Correct.
I think I got that at a good price of plus 120. And then last night, someone said, hey, the Caps are plus 125 in the series. And then I rolled that entirety over into that, which was probably not the best move at 11:30 p.m. Yeah, but we'll take it.
Those midnight bets, Josh?
I like Logan Thompson right now. Like I think that's the difference. We don't know the health of Freddie Anderson, and we're talking on Tuesday about I don't think there's a big downgrade. Well, guess what? Pyotr Kochetkov gave up 3 straight goals to New Jersey, and they had to Carolina to come back in that game. So that could be a very big narrative in that series.
Logan Thompson is better than any alternative in the Hurricanes net. That's the bottom line. And you know what? And when you're basing a series price on that and an opportunity there at plus money, it's not a bad bet. Like everybody kind of jokes about how the Conn Smythe is called the Conn Smythe because it's not called goalie. This might be an example of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that pretty much takes us out. Oh, I wanted to touch on, we'll go to game 7 of the Colorado series. Colin Blackwell is not feeling good today after putting the puck in his own net, the go-ahead goal. Dallas collapses again. You just can't be
former Leaf great. Yeah.
You just can't be a good team and punt third period leads. And that's what we saw. We saw Colorado score 4 straight goals in the third period, 2 of those coming via the empty net. But the McKinnon move to the net, and Old Blackwell puts it in his own net. Can't feel good about that. And that series is, I'll be looking to bet that over again. Mackenzie Blackwood is maybe fighting demons, got pulled in game 5, lit up in game 6, still got the W, but we could see some goals again. You like that over maybe?
I like
in
that
game
over.
7?
And I apologize to the Blackwood family, who's probably just outside of Barrie, Ontario. Ever since I put that Mackenzie Blackwood prop up, he has turned into dust, and it's been dreadful. But yeah, they need something there, right? You can't have a playoff game, go what, double the goals as far as totals are concerned. They hit 11, so okay, well, 6.5, not quite, but still, it's one of those things where it's like, wow, no defense allowed. That's got to tighten up, but I still do like the over. Like I think we're safe when we sit there and estimate 7, could be 8, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see a double-digit game in game number 7.
Awesome, like it. Let's roll to the show.
Yes,
big game for you, Jets fan. Lots going on with this lineup. Winnipeg, even money dog on the road. Over under, sitting at 5.5, juiced heavily to the under. I understand that Mark Scheifele is out. He will not play in this game, but you're losing your center. Like, there's some defensive liabilities that go down the pecking order now that, I mean, yes, he was a good scorer, but I think losing him defensively is a big thing. Let's get to your plays. Connor Hellebuyck over 22.5 saves, even money. Cole Perfetti for a goal, plus 310. My favorite, both teams to score in the first period, plus 210. Yes, one of the most exciting, I think. The money's always good. It's always like plus 160 or better. One of my favorite early props that you can get into, both teams to score. Talk me through your plays here, Davey.
Yeah, that is my favorite play too. Both teams to score the first period play. I was even looking for a goal to be scored in the first 10 minutes. If you see that, I think I would hit that as well. This has happened in 4 of the first 5 games, and a lot of establishments here. Jets have to play strong on the road. St. Louis has to open up aggression like they did in games 3 and 4. So I think we are going to see a little punch out in the first 20 minutes of action. I think we're actually going to see it in the first 5 minutes of action. And don't be surprised. I'm not going to say it's going to be Canada, USA in the first 9 seconds, but there might be a little bit of conflict. Let's just say conflict in the first little bit with a Braden Shen, which we could talk about in a bit. But Cole Perfetti plus 310. I like this number. I kind of priced this in my head about 275. This guy has 10 shots in the series. So many opportunities. If you're looking at some of the high-powered, high slot opportunities, he probably could have had about 3 or 4 goals at this time. Plays top power play minutes, and he's going to continue to play it with 55 being on the sideline. Averages around 16 to 17 minutes, and the kid is only getting better. As far as Connor Hellebuyck, this is just me thinking big game from 37, because he hasn't touched this number this entire series. And guess what? It would be nice if he played 60 minutes so he could actually get to this number. I'm a little nervous about this one, but I saw the plus 100 and I thought, okay, this might be one of those marquee games for him. And if they could go to St. Louis and play and win against a team that's basically owned them. And I'm not just talking about games 3 and 4. The Jets have had a hard time in St. Louis in general. And there's a lot of history between these two divisional rivals. So if they go there, 22.5 saves isn't that much. St. Louis will pepper, stop the puck, get me to my number. That's why I'm betting it. That's the only reason. Because if you look at some of the trends, they do not favor me at all.
The entire time you were talking about Hellebuyck in my head, it was just flashing Eric Comrie, Conn Smythe. That's all I was thinking.
50,000.
Like, yes. Yeah, that's all I could think. Yeah, 500 to 1. 500 to 1. There's nothing I've seen out of Hellebuyck that can tell me that he's going to be in there and give you a great effort on the road. It's almost comical at this point. It's a meme of what he is on the road.
It is.
But the talent's there, but you're just it's over, and that's why you can't bet this game under. I don't understand why the move is to the under. Like, it's almost a flat 5, Dave. And we hit it the other game. It was plus 120. Hitting it again over 5.5, plus 115. Going to get a Nemesnikov point here at plus 130 and a Snuggerud assist. I got greedy. I saw the point at plus 110 and I said, you know what? How about an assist at 225 for a guy who plays top line and PP1 at home? Just one assist in the series, but it was at home, so I'll take some of that. I like scoring in here. I know lots of people in the chat are talking about Cam Fowler assists, Cam Fowler points. We were getting that assist at plus 165 at the beginning of the series. When you get 8 assists through 6 games, guess what? Your price comes down substantially. Yeah. So now we're seeing that assist at plus 110, which isn't a bad look, but can he get 9 in the series? Can he get 10? It's pretty incredible what he's doing. I understand why people are betting it.
Punching way above. Yeah, it's like somebody tell him to take off that Cale Makar jersey because this isn't Cam Fowler.
100%, right? Yeah. All right, but here's the thing. Let's kind of handicap this in a situation where you touched on it. Maybe some things happen early in this game, right? The Mark Scheifele hit, Braden Shen, and then the Faxa hit. There's situations where, do you think they come after Shen? So it's in a spot where don't be looking to bet any Shen points because Shen could be he could be getting 2 and 2 in the box, right? He could be spending some time. And do you see that? Do you see some retaliatory things going on? And where in Winnipeg do you see it coming from?
Yeah, thank you. I actually do. I don't think anybody may challenge to drop the gloves, but I see finishing hits on him being a necessity. I'm zeroing in on Adam Lowry and go, you know what? That's a big guy. Go heads up. Logan Stanley hasn't hit anybody since TJ Oshie, my mistake. Jordan Kyrou. I'm thinking TJ Oshie because I have my notes here on Braden Shen and his jumping body checks. Thanks, NHL, for not looking at that. But yeah, like guys like Logan Stanley, guys like Dylan Sandberg, there's going to be like, even, you know what? I'd like to see Luke hammer out his brother. I mean, who hasn't wanted to hit his brother? And Luke Shen has led the Jets in hits probably since he joined this team via trade back at the deadline. So I see some accountability. I don't see, if this is regular season, Josh, I see gloves dropping. I don't think I see that necessarily, but I do see payment for what has happened.
Open ice could be tough for Braden Shen, let's say.
Yes. Yeah.
He's on the no bet list for points today for me when it comes to that situation. So we could see some different lines. When Scheifele did exit, we saw Connor, Nemesnikov, and Velarde on that top line.
Correct.
Not sure if they roll it out again today, but I do like that second line, that Iafallo, Lowry, and Perfetti line could be worth something. You just hope that they're not going to the box. That's all, with the same angle. But that's their heavy hitting line. Leave the scoring up there to Connor, Nemesnikov, Velarde. And we did see Nick Ehlers, I believe, at practice, non-contact stuff, but I don't think he's ready to jump into lineup quite yet, Dave.
No, he did make the trip to St. Louis. That is confirmed. I would be shocked if Nick Ehlers is in this lineup because usually you want 3 or 4 practices of contact and so forth. But it would be a great surprise for the Jets. But I don't anticipate that. I expect David Gustafsson to enter the lineup in number 4. He's kind of been that 4-5 center for the team for the entire year. There's been times where he hasn't played 2 weeks. He actually did score in this series earlier on when he was in this lineup. But I expect him to take over C4 spot. Even, Morgan Barron might fall into that spot, so Gus would move to the wing. Nemesnikov will play first line minutes. He may not be on the power play, but he will be centering that top line. Velarde and Connor know a lot about each other, and I don't think they want to separate that. And Nemesnikov has played all through this lineup. Very versatile. He's even, like, at the beginning of the season, he was even centering the 4th line. So this guy's so useful. There was no doubt why they wanted to extend him during the regular season, because he would have been useful for a lot of other teams. Almost like another version of an Alex Iafallo, where he can play first, second, third, fourth lines, PK. Very useful, very smart player as well. He's not going to put up the points 55 does, but guess what? Nobody on this team is. Let's not kid ourselves here. The Jets are missing their best performing forward. I with all due respect to Kyle Connor, because he's snipe show, but but 55 is kind of what generates everything. It's going to be tough. And if there is a game 7, we don't even know if he's going to be available for that.
Love it. Let's go goals. Hopefully, I mean, I also think that there's probably an offensive upgrade for Rob Thomas, centering that first line with Mark Scheifele out. If you know, if you've ever played hockey, losing that center, facing weak center depth is very tough on the defensive side of the game. What do we got there from inside? Nemestikov and Connor assist. Nemestikov goal, Connor assist, 11-1. Wow,
that's something. Yeah, see, like
that certainly is something. Oh,
see, I would reverse that. I could see the Connor goal, Nemesnikov assist. So, and I also saw earlier too in the chat. We never got to it, but the Jets also got to stay out of the penalty box because the PK on a team that had a pretty good PK during the regular season has stunk. Like, they have paid the price when they've taken penalties, and there's been a lot of undisciplined penalties. That's why I'm hoping that if there is any sort of Shen incidents, that it better be a 1-for-1.
Yeah,
kind of figure it out that way and do it best. But we'll see. And you know what? I don't want to put on my fan hat, but we have to stop these jumping hits. And Braden Shen has a history of this. Like, if you look at the rap sheet, he jumped at TJ Oshie. There's my reference that I was referring to earlier in 2016. He jumped at Anton Volchenkov in 2013. Like, the guy has a rap sheet. When you're hitting a player, the skates don't leave the ice. And I don't know how NHL safety hasn't at least looked at this when we've seen a lot of garbage happening in that Florida series. And they've been handing things out like food stamps. And in this series, Braden Shen's been running wild. And we just haven't seen the NHL, at least evaluate tape on this situation. I'm kind of disappointed by it, considering that they talk about protecting the stars of the game. And this might be the best player in this series. And he's not playing in an elimination game. So, okay, the fan hat's off. Let's go.
gave you the floor. The floor is yours, Dave.
I know.
I get it.
And thank you for it, Joshy.
It's frustrating, but didn't Scheifele take out someone else? Who did Scheifele take out?
Jake Evans a couple of years ago in the Canadian Finals. Is that what you're referring to? Well, you know what? Okay, listen to this. So no. Okay, he's suspended for 5 games.
Yeah.
So that by NHL safety standards is 5 games, but what happened to him wasn't worth anything more than a 2-minute penalty. Like, go screw yourself, NHL. Like, I don't understand how they hand out these things. Like if the NHL was, Superstore, they'd be selling bread for $3 one day, and then the next day it'd be up to $10. Maybe food references aren't good because our food prices are crazy. Don't start me on this crap, Josh. Okay.
Yeah. Jesus, the fan hat comes immediately back on. All right. Yeah. Don't talk about Scheifele in the Bastel household today.
That's it. Sure. That's it. Too many 55 jerseys in this house, actually. I'm looking at one right now.
Love it. I love the passion, though. But for your sake, I hope you win. But this series does look like it's going to 7 games.
It does.
And you just
it does.
Just hope that maybe Mark Scheifele can be back for an elimination game. The second hit was scary, right? Like, that's the scary part. Like, why didn't the spotter catch him in the first hit? Maybe, like, that was a big hit.
Yeah.
But to come out and get another one, that's the scary part. So hopefully he can come back. But like you said, the consistency of George Peros and his goons. I believe, who else is in the goonery?
I don't know, but
Getzlaf is in the goonery, I think. I think Ryan Getzlaf is in there.
They have a habit of finding these guys. It's like, if Craig Berube wasn't coaching this team, he'd probably be.
Yeah, it's like, okay, who's going to be in charge of our cybersecurity? Let's go find the best hacker in the world. Okay,
seriously.
All right.
Insight, Nemesnikov assist, Connor goal plus 625. So that's the number we were looking for.
I thought that would be shorter, honestly.
I did too, actually. I thought we were looking at like plus 525, plus 550-ish. But yeah, so.
All right, really great insight. Throw in a Gabe Velarde assist in there too.
Hey. Go for it, right? So anyway, nice to have a start time at 7:00. So this is very Dave, Josh, Dave friendly. It's we're not having these 10
Happened in the
o'clock
Oilers
Eastern
game
starts.
last night. I'll have to catch up on that.
I know, exactly. So, but man, those two late starts yesterday are fireworks. And Mikko Rantanen has finally showed up in the series, so that should be interesting in game number 7 as well, right? So,
all right, let's go. We got lots of plays. I love it. I love the action. We got Hellebuck over saves, Perfetti goal plus 310. That's a big one. Love the both teams to score early in this game. I like how we're both aligned on scoring. I'm on the over 5.5. A point for plus 130. That is a crazy price. If he goes on power play 1, you're getting C1, power play 1C at plus 130 for a point, where
totally.
that should be as low as minus 150, regardless of who's skating. And then Snuggerud over 0.5 assists plus 225.
Had a great series so far too. Had a great series. Yeah.
Top line power play 1 as well. Just get an apple. That's a big price for the apple. I think his point was plus 110. Take it if you want. But there's a lot to like in this game. Points. It's not going to be, I don't think it will be the 2-1, 3-1 game that we kind of see in elimination games we've seen in other sides. But let's get this. David, appreciate you jumping on today. Cheering for your Jets, but cheering for my bank account more. I appreciate it.
And that's the way it should be. Have a nice weekend, pal. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes. Thanks to everybody there in the chat. You guys are absolute beauties. NHL Puck Props presented by Sports Interaction. Sports Interaction has you covered for all these picks. Download the Sports Interaction app. Let's go. Friday hockey, 1 game. Get to watch it all because it's not at 11 o'clock at night. Let's go. Enjoy your day.